top 5 baits for late summer. When I talk about late summer, I'm talking about, you know, that water temperature, it's peaked out. You know, it's around here, it's mid 80s. You know, the water's kind of stagnant. There's not a lot of current. You're talking about late summer, what happens, in my opinion, early summer, these fish get on the ledges, you know, the bare spots, they group up, they bust up, they go to brush, they go to isolated, you know, grass and this kind of stuff, docks. But what happens in late summer is it's all about the bait. There's just a transition where structure is not the most important thing. It's more about the bait. Now they may get on structure, you know, outside grass line or something like that, but there's going to be bait there. It's all about it. But also, you know, I think that you know, these shad balls and stuff like that, I think that is the structure. They just swim around underneath these shad balls and stuff and just kind of in a relaxed mode. And when it's time to eat, they bust through it and go right back to relaxed mode. So, and that's what's going to lead me to the baits. Most of the baits here that I have are all shad baits. And number one, not in any particular order, would be a spook. You know, in the late summer, it doesn't matter if I'm fishing deep, fishing shallow, I always have a spook laid out because you just never know when they're going to come up blowing shad out of the water. Also, you know, I'm able to throw it around isolated targets, logs, the edge of docks, you know, rocky points, anything like that. But never go fishing in the late summer without a spook. And you know, a lot of times that's a good way to catch a big one in the late summer. It's early in the morning, you know, throwing that thing around there. So, you know, you get out there and you're on some of that stuff, you know, you have to think about these fish have been fished for all summer. They've seen a lot of things. So a finesse, you know, a drop shot, this is a warning shot here, is a really good way to catch them. It's just light line, little bait. When they're not on the bottom and they're out there underneath that bait, it'd be a sonar minnow. You know, I can see them on live scope. I know what depth they are. I can cast this at them just like the winter time, work it right over. One thing I learned about this bait in the beginning, I thought it was a wintertime bait only, and it's not. It's 12 months of the year. It just, whenever they're around that bait, they're suspended. And the water's clear, that bait's going to get some playing time. A frog. This is a Booyah pad crasher. Some of the biggest stringers I've caught in Oklahoma in the late summer has been on a frog. And you know, a lot of times there's not anything there, just going down the bank, you know, or shade and stuff like that. And what a frog is not only is it a good bait to come over mats and things like that, it's just natural. It's a finesse topwater. It looks real. There's no, you know, not a big sound in it. It just looks natural. And I think that's the reason in the late summer it gets big bites. And, you know, it's just something about early in the morning in the late summer and high noon. High noon is a really, really good time to throw that thing. This is a Bandit 200. And I just picked a crankbait. This is a good one to get bites on. But a crankbait is a good way in August, especially when you start getting some wind. You know, get on some of that windy stuff, and these fish that are bait related, you know, that bait's going to push up next to something, the bank, something, and you know, you can crank them with a really fast retrieve and get bites. That's my top 5 baits for late summer. I appreciate you guys riding along.